Please welcome at Telstar Surf. Where are we? In the middle of Holland, in the biggest windsurf shop from Holland. I think maybe from all of Europe. And we've got websites all over in Europe, so that's why we start making these movies in proper English. I do my best, and if it doesn't function perfectly, if I'm searching for one word, then you will find it in the subtitle. I maybe tell it in Dutch. It's a win-win situation. You learn Dutch, and I can continue my story. What are we gonna do today? We like to tell you about some tips and tricks. And why tips and tricks? Because tips and tricks, if I'm on the beach, I'm on the water, I see a lot of windsurfers struggling with little things or things that go wrong, or they've got questions all over. And all these questions I've got in my mind, and I help everyone because it's my hobby, it's my passion. So these tricks I want to tell you. And the first thing, which is very important if you start windsurfing, if you're learning or new in the sport, or even if you're struggling with going fine on the water, the first things I want to explain to you is boom height. Armpit height is the start for everyone. Put your sail on the grass, on the floor, and armpit high is the main thing that you can start with. And of course, there are people saying, yeah, there are a lot of possibilities. I like them low, I'd like it high, but there is a reason why it's armpit high. Because if your boom is too low, what can happen is your board sticks on the water. It doesn't come free enough if your boom is too low. So if your board doesn't surf the way you like, try it a little bit higher. If it's too high, a lot of people like to surf high, then your board gets more quickly into plane and it feels a little bit more free. Then it's of course your own personal setting, what you like. Because if I go into the waves, if I go, your first time on sea, I was on Tenerife this winter and I saw people go first time over the waves, over the shore break. Then put your boom higher, because you have to go over the shop. And if it's too low, yeah, then you play the dolphin, you dive, you make a beautiful dive that day. So also if you go on the North Sea or on every country way or on holiday, and you come out and you go down the wave and your boom is too low, it's also next time you do a big dive like a dolphin, because the sail flips you over. And boom high gives you the strength and the pressure that you need, because your sail is pulling you all the way. What do we have here? We have a big camber sail. This is the F-Pace. It has 3 cambers. It's a super solid sail. But if you're starting to windsurf, please don't buy a camber sail on eBay. It's struggling. It's a little bit heavier, and it prevents you from being a better windsurfer. We all want to be a better windsurfer. We all want to be able to learn the water start, able to glide, to use the foot straps, your harness. Once you've learned all that, and maybe a little bit jibing, once you learned all that, then think about what I'm going to do. Am I going to be a little bit of speed surfer? Do I want to go fast? Buy a camber. Do I want to do wavy things? Maybe tricks, etc. Remain the camberless sail, because one thing for sure, you will be a better windsurfer. This cam sail, some people struggle with the cams who doesn't flip like they want. There's one trick for it. If I push it hard, bam! That's what we want to hear. This goes like butter. That was a second-hand sail or a used sail, and boy, they last long. You can surf many of years with it. This is the latest, the newest warp fin. Wow, what a beauty it is. More loose leash, a bigger cam, but that's not why we're here. I'm here because I want to explain you everything about harness lines. There's a lot of talk about harness lines. What to do, how long should it be, comparing to my weight, my length, etc. There's one smart thing which Duotone has. It's a mark over here. It's a mark that says where your harness line should be. So this is here and that is there. That's always correct. It only fits if there's a duotone mast in it. If there's not a duotone mast in it, then it could be that your harness lines may be a little bit backwards. But the length, let's talk about the length of it. If I go on holiday, most of the time I see harness lines, oh boy, they are so long, I can't even surf with it. I'm a little bit old school surfer maybe, no problem, I have no problem with that. But what I do on holiday, I take this one with me because I can change it and put it on the boom without removing the back side of the boom. I can always put this everywhere I want. It's a quick release and it's also adjustable, so you can make it longer and smaller. What is the normal size? It's from here, from your wrist to your elbow. That's the optimized size for everyone. Every average surfer, we're talking about average surfer, because the professionals, they do their own stuff, maybe short, maybe very long, but this is to start with, from your wrist to your elbow. My size is then 22, 24, and it really fits. But not all the times. If I have a board from 68 wide, a small board, a 3S or something like that, I put it 22. If I take my GP Supersport 76 wide, then I make it a little bit longer. Because if you hang outboard hanging on a big fin, which gives you pressure in the water, is control. The further you hang out is control. The closer you get to the sail, you might get some proper speed. And there's another problem you can meet is the waves. If you are at a spot with a lot of waves, you don't want to have your butt hit your waves all the time, so you can't hang out that far as you see as the pros are hanging out. That's not the average windsurfer, that's only for the pros. So this is to start with, and then take adjustable or wider board, a little bit longer, shorter board, hang close to your sail and go for it. There's a big difference in a wave sail and a slalom sail, but for me, 22, I do it almost all the time, except when I'm big board, big fin, I go out, because then I have the power and the speed. Okay, that was the harness lines. Let's talk about fins versus sails. But there's one more thing I want to explain to you. I put on my harness and you see I have extra rope. You never know what's going to happen on the water. Be safe out there on the water. If you hang in and you're surfing, the sail gives you pressure. You have to pull it. If you've got more backhand pulling, then you know one thing for sure. It has to go to the back. If you got much more front pulling, do this. If they're on the right spot, you can do one thing, and I do it a lot of times just for fun. It's if you're falling gliding, just do this. And if you can do that, then these are on the white spot. Exactly. And maybe I've got some more news for you, because there's a lot of struggling, and people ask me always, which fin should I use with which sail? And there's one thing to know. The brands have already thought about the perfect fin for every board. If you do this, it always fits. This is the length fitting to the board. The brands have already thought about it. Exactly against the box, put the fin here. Walk with me. It fits with every board. You won't believe it, but it's really true. This is the brand new Taboo. The brand new 24. Exactly the same. Every brand knows which fin fits the best at their board. But that doesn't give me the answer. Which sail is competitive with this fin? Okay, let's do the math. If you got, for example, a 40 centimeter fin, divided by 5 is an 8 sail. It always works. If I take my 6 meter sail out of my bus, my 6 meter, times 5 is 30. 30 fin is perfectly for this 6 meter. And it always works. 7 times 5, 35, 36. There's another thing here. Minus 6. Minus 6 means if you've got a 40 centimeter fin, minus 6, then you're about to have your sea glass fin. It always fits. So there are different styles of sea glass fins. And the same, if you're a little bit heavier, add 2 or 3 centimeters extra. That's the way you choose your sail. I always pick out my sail out of my bus. 6 meter times 5 is 30 and it fits all the time. Let's step a little bit further with a smaller board. If you're wave kind of surfer, free move surfer, and it has thruster, 3 fins, and you want to do the maximum sail, then this 31 divided 5 is maximum, kind of a 6 square meter sail, and it fits perfectly for your best free ride session. Let's talk about nose protection. Maybe I've got news for you. People struggle with sometimes if you get pulled over with your mast and it hits the board, and there are several things to do. Of course, you have the base plate, and there's one nice thing they developed, the surf band, and I've got some questions on the beach sometimes. People say, "Hey Ron, this is too short, it doesn't fit." And they mean, this is short. You have to remove this one, replace it on this, and then it fits like butter. It's only suitable for boards, not high nose. If you have a wave kind of board or a free wave board with a high nose, it might fit less, but a free ride, free race, slalom board, this is preventing the mast hit your nose or the side of the board. It really works. It's also good for foil boards. Don't forget, it's very important. Sometimes people have these mast foots and they see this. Please concentrate not to do it over here. You will damage the board. It has to be here. It's safety that it won't slip out. There's another problem. This is slippery. This is totally flat. I can tell you one trick, and oh boy, I've helped a lot of people on the beach buying this gutter. It's for you buy it in the construction market for €2, and if they don't get it loose, I help them like this, and it goes loose. I help most of the people out because I have this on my own in my bus, and you can turn it easy to get it loose. You can buy it at the construction market for €2 or something like that. But there are companies who makes it easier. This is totally shiny and flat, but if there's a foam on it, it sticks better to the board and it releases easier. So that's a decision you make in the shop. Which one will you buy? Okay, then there's another solution, of course. That is the nose. You can stick it on the nose. You put the tape here, so it's properly in the right position. And put a sandbag on it all night long. It has to glue really. This is really super material. This is like sandpaper. This is totally shiny again. No problem. It will stick on it. And waterproof, of course. But put a sandbag on it or something in weights all night long, and then it won't come loose. And there's one board who doesn't need all of this, because this is also on the mast to click. Then if your mast goes down, this is a little bit protected, the nose is protected. You can click this one also on. But there's one board who doesn't need all that. And that's this board, AV boards. It's such a funny board because this has an integrated nose bumper. If you don't believe it, come and see. It's extra made, and there's foam in between. It's like a bumper. This is really perfect board to learn everything. I told you in the beginning, please start with a camberless sail, an easy board, learn the water start, do the jibe, and do everything to be a better windsurfer. This board does it all. On this board you will be a better windsurfer and protected. What more do you want? The last tip I have for you is a very important one. Please always tape your mast. I was in Tenerife. One Italian friend of mine wanted to take the plane home. He couldn't get the mast loose because there was sand and salt and all dust in it. He couldn't get it apart. But there are 3 important things to do. If you tape it, you don't make the mistake that he has a gap from 1 or 2 centimeters, because if you put tension on the downhole, your mast might break. there's no guarantee in the shop because they know if it breaks here, it never breaks here. So it didn't close enough. So tape it, please. And if you want to have it separate, and the third reason why you do it, if you have got a full rigged sail, now you can pull the mast by turning in one piece out of the sail without damaging the sail. So 3 reasons why you should tape your mast. Okay, thank you. This was Ron Surf at Telstar, one of the biggest shops from Europe. I hope to see you in the next. And thank you for watching, and I hope I've had some tips and tricks for you which make you a better windsurfer. Bye bye.